Tonight, I will be taking PJ Washington, but not on his PRA and not on his points prop. I'm sure a lot of you guys are on both of these overs, but tonight I'm going to be building 3 full 6-mans, and one of those is going to have PJ Washington in it, and they are all going to pay 38x. But first, as always, I will recap last night's picks. First up here on D4 Power, did not hit because of the Kyle Tucker and Jordan Alvarez stack here on Houston. Did not end up going over the hits, runs, RBIs together. So that is one chalk slip. The second slip was a full WNBA. I stacked Clark with Nalissa Smith. They both went under in this case rather than both going over, as he did cash her 12.5 points. And then Sykes was a bucket off hitting her points prop. And in the 6-man slip, once again, you could see the correlation went opposite direction on Obi Toppin. He ended up going under points. Pascal Siakam went over his points plus assists. We were going for that opposite correlation in this sense. Then Jokic didn't end up hitting with both MPJ and Pope, because you could see Pope dropped 20 points plus assists, and I believe Gordon was also popping off on his side. Michael Porter Jr. took that step back once again. So Jokic did have a heavy assisting game, but you can't expect a triple stack to hit every single time in the same direction. Of course, sometimes, MPJ might have a bad game or things like that. As long as the triple stack hits in the same direction 1 in 6 times, then you know you are doing well. Then once again, the demon prop did hit, but that's going to be a -3 units day. So we're going to get onto the board, and I have some heat for today. So this first slip is going to be a triple stack over an NBA, and it's going to be a triple stack you guys are familiar with. Of course, we're grabbing Luka Doncic on his over 8.5 assists, but we're going to be mixing it up again. As I said, I'm going to go with PJ Washington tonight. Last time I took Derek Lively, but the problem is with Derek Lively tonight, you're going to see he has his points prop set at 7. I'm not liking it at 7. I already locked the slip in for the Discord that had him at 6.5 points, so I do not want to go with Derek Lively. But that doesn't mean we can't do this stack, because we could replace him with someone who's also heavily assisted. And honestly, everyone on Dallas except for Kyrie is going to be a heavily assisted player. I'll show you who I'm going with tonight. So like last time, I'm going to go with Tim Hardaway Jr. on his over 6.5 points to pair up with Doncic. And then, as I said in the intro, I'm going to be going with PJ Washington. But I don't like his points prop, and I don't like his PRA. What I like the most is actually his points plus rebounds, and this play is just based off juice. I mean, it's kind of the same as points, rebounds, his points. These are all going to be very correlated props, because each of these props kind of include each other. Points is going to be included in points plus rebounds plus assists. Points plus rebounds is included in points, rebounds, assists. So all of these are kind of going to have the same last 5 graphs, but what I like the most is the juice on the specific play. You can see points and rebounds is the only thing that's juiced towards the over here, and pretty decent juice at -125. If you're grabbing his points line, there's actually juice towards the under. So the points alone is more favorable to go under, but the points plus the rebounds is more favorable to go over. So that's why I'm going with the PR play instead. And you'll see the same thing for points and assists. It's kind of 50-50 flat towards the over and the under. So might as well go with the play that is the most likely to go in the over. Then for the points, rebounds, assists, the actual play is the under. You could see there's juice towards the under at -130. The over is set at +100 on the sports books. So if you're taking PJ Washington tonight, don't grab the PRA, don't grab the points. Go with the points plus rebounds on the more. That is the best possible prop you could go with for PJ Washington on Prizepicks tonight. Now, since we're replacing Lively, does PJ Washington get a lot of points from assists? If you guys watched the Mavericks, you already know. But PJ Washington has 86% of his field goals made coming from assists. That's not as good as Lively, who's at 96.4% of his field goals made assisted. Basically, he's not scoring unless he's assisted. But of course, PJ Washington does score way more points, so that's going to be even more correlated with Doncic assists. And as I showed you in previous videos, we're also going with Tim Hardaway, because he has about 78.6% of his field goals made assisted. Now, while we're going with the overs tonight, as I just showed you guys, PJ Washington did have juice towards the over, but so does Hardaway. If we check Hardaway, 6.5 points, he's set at -139 juice towards the over. This might get bumped to 7. Hopefully it doesn't, and you guys could get it in time. And I'm not going to 3 points made, because as you can see, his 3 points made does have juice towards the under. So you kind of have to juggle and find what's the best prop to pair up that is still correlated. In the previous video, I took over 1.5 3 points made, because his line was set at 7, I think, on Prizepicks, and I wasn't liking the points prop, but his 3 points made still had value on it. So you kind of have to flip-flop and see what is the best value on that particular night. You can't just take the same stack over and over and over. You have to make some adjustments. So tonight, the Tim Hardaway Jr. 6.5 points prop is very nice. So that's why I'm throwing it into the entry. And then, of course, Doncic assists, who's kind of the backbone of the slip. -129 juice towards the over 8.5 assists. That is a beautiful triple stack, and it's exactly what you want to look for. A main assister here, so in this case, Doncic is always going to be that top guy who's getting the most assists on the team. Hardaway, who yes is a bench player, but he's still going to get minutes with Doncic throughout the game, and he's a heavily assisted player. About 80% of his field goals made are assisted. Then, of course, PJ Washington, who's been very hot recently, and a lot of his points are going to be assisted, and he scores a lot of points. So if he does clear his points prop, you could expect Doncic to be assisting quite a bit of those points. So this slip already looks great, but it's about to look even better. I'm going to go over to MLB and grab another triple stack. And this one is absolutely beautiful. We're going to go with Ozzy on his over-hitter strikeouts to start it off with. And we're going to be taking another Braves player here on Orlando on his over half-hitter strikeouts. Now, this is a demon prop, but you're going to see once I build the slip out, it's going to pay 38x. So it's very, very worth it to throw him in the entry. And it's very correlated with this next prop that I'm going to take. Over in MLB Live, we're going to take the Chicago Cubs pitcher. In this case, it's Assad, and grab him on the over pitcher strikeouts. Now, these guys cannot get a hitter strikeout unless someone is striking them out. So in the first 2 innings, Assad is going to have the opportunity to strike out either of them, maybe even both of them. And you can imagine in a perfect world, Assad gets 2 pitcher strikeouts in the first 2 innings, and it happens to be Orlando and Ozzy that he's striking out. Now, the good news is both these guys are going to be batting within the first 2 innings. You see, Ozzy will be batting within the first inning. He's expected to bat second, and Orlando's expected to bat sixth. So no matter what, both these guys are going to be batting within the first inning. Of course, Assad doesn't have to strike out both of them. Let's say there's only 6 guys batting within the first 2 innings. There's a high probability that one of these guys gets struck out if Assad does actually end up clearing this over pitcher strikeout sign. Of course, he could strike out the other 4 batters, but what are the odds of that? You want to be maximizing the odds of all this stuff hitting together, and that is exactly what we're going for tonight. Now, let's say within the first 2 innings, Assad does get his 2 pitcher strikeouts, but only one of those is on one of these guys. So let's say Orlando gets struck out. Well, then we still have another 3-4 at-bats for Ozzy to get struck out. So even though they might not all hit within the first 2 innings, as long as 2 of them hit, that is going to be very good for the slip. And the reason I'm going with the overs on both Ozzy and Orlando, if we go over to DraftKings and check the hitter strikeouts prop, you're going to see Ozzy has juice towards the over at -125. So that's pretty good. And then for Orlando, of course, the under is more likely, but that's because it's a demon prop. He's only plus 105 on the over, which is pretty good. That's about like a 45-46% chance that he does actually go over. And we're only amplifying that percent by taking the opponent's pitcher strikeouts. So as you see by the payouts, 38x for a 6 for 6, and then 4x for a 5 out of 6. This is a beautiful slip, but remember guys, these hit very rarely. There's only about a 2% chance that this slip hits, so don't go putting your big bankroll on it. If you have a $500 bankroll, put $5 on this slip. You guys should not be putting big money on these, and do not expect them to even hit in this video, because I will be making 3. So we're going to submit this first one and get straight into the second one. Now for the second one, I'm going to start it off straight away. We're going to go to the Texas Rangers and grab the under pitcher strikeouts on Jon Gray. This is going to be the first 3 innings. I'm going to do the exact same thing I just did with the Braves, but now we're taking the unders instead, and I'll show you why we're taking the unders once again. We're going to go with Jose Ramirez on his under half a hitter strikeout. And then we're going to go with Will Brennan on his under half a hitter strikeout. So exact same concept, except this time we're taking the unders. So if Jon Gray is not getting pitcher strikeouts within the first 3 innings, well then it's going to be more likely that Jose Ramirez and Will Brennan are going to go under their hitter strikeouts throughout the whole game. Of course, both these guys will be batting within the first 3 innings, so we don't have to worry about that. And again, the reason we're going unders here, go over to Ramirez here, you're going to see pretty good juice towards the under. -135 for him to go under half a pitcher strikeout, and the other guy was right here, Will Brennan, -130 to go under half a pitcher strikeout. These odds only get better as the game goes, and especially if they're not getting struck out within the first 2 innings. So simple triple stack there. I don't have to get into too much detail. Then I'm going to go over to NHL. You guys might not care about NHL, but there is a very nice stack I'm going to do here. First prop is going to be Jason Robinson on his over half an assist. They are up against Colorado, and he has cleared this every single game this series, and even got 2 assists in the most recent game. Despite the fact that he has hit this every game this series, his juice towards the over is actually not that crazy. We're going to see on Pinnacle only -119 juice towards the over, -111 towards the under. But it's who I'm going to pair him with that's going to make this a very strong combo. That's going to be Jamie Benn on his over half a point. Now, if you look at this game log, you're going to see in these 3 games versus Colorado, once again, you can see of the 4 games in the series, in 3 of them, both these guys hit within the same direction. So the first 3 games of the series, when Jamie Benn got a point, Jason Robinson also got an assist. And if you know anything about hockey, 1 goal could be up to 3 points for the players on the team. So Jason Robinson could assist Jamie Benn, which would give him a point, or both Jason Robinson and Jamie Benn could be assisting another player scoring a goal, because a point is going to be an assist or a goal. So both these guys could get an assist each within a single goal. So Jamie Benn could essentially pass to Jason Robertson, and then Robertson could pass to someone else who scores. That is going to be a point for each of them. In NHL, you get an assist even if you're that second assister. So both these guys could easily get a point within a single goal. So that's kind of the idea here. And if we go over to Jamie Benn and check his juice, he does have pretty decent juice towards the over at -128. So I hope this makes sense for NHL. I know a lot of you might not follow NHL, but that's kind of how it works. And you could just see by these game logs. I mean, only on May 13th did they not hit in the same direction. If you go and check on Jason Robertson, every other game was exactly the same. They both went under in this game, and then they both went over in these 3 games here. So in the past 4 out of 5 games, they have went in the same direction. Now to end it off, we have a popular pick here, Ranger Suarez. A lot of you guys are on his over 5.5 pitcher strikeouts. You know what I'm liking even better is his pitching outs. I don't believe he has a normal pitching outs line, but it's a very nice prop. And once again, 38x on that 6 for 6 and a 4x on that 5 for 5. Let's just check Ranger Suarez's juice. Of course, it's a demon prop, so it's going to be heavily juiced towards the under. You can see -155, but +125 for this demon prop to hit is not bad, especially because of the boost that this gives us. So let's lock this second slip in, and let's go make this third slip now. I did want to show you guys the probability that we actually even hit a slip tonight. So these have about a 2% chance of hitting, and we're doing 3 slips. So number of trials, 3. And then the number of successes, we want 1, right? With this information, you could actually calculate what is the probability that we even hit a slip tonight. And you can see the probability that X is greater than equal to 1. So just basically that we hit 1 or more slip is 5.88% chance. So don't go putting a lot of money on these guys and don't even expect these to hit. I'm hoping that they do well, like maybe a 5 out of 6, 4 out of 6, but don't expect to go full 6 for 6, even though we're doing 3 slips. Again, these pay 38x. We only have to hit 1 in 38 of these. It's like I'm doing 2 powers on the channel, guys. So make sure you're really managing your bankroll when you tail these picks. So start this next slip. I did want to incorporate some Wnba because why not? And then honestly, there's only one good play. It's going to be Wnba here on the under 4.5 assists. That is the only good play I was able to find in the Wnba. And we're going to go check the juice on Bet365. Nothing too impressive. Minus 120 on the under 4.5. But I just wanted to incorporate that in. I checked some juice on some other sites, and the under is definitely the favorable play. So we're going to keep this in the slip. Then we're going to go over to the NBA. And honestly, these picks are just going to be straight positive EV picks. So the first one's going to be Luke Cornett on his under 4.5 rebounds. Why do I know this is a good pick? Because if I go over to Pinnacle and I just check Cornett, you're going to see his rebounds is heavily juiced towards the under. So minus 137 for him to go under 4.5 rebounds. Let me put this into actual percentages for you. So minus 137 on the over and 106 on the under. Basically means he has about a 54.35% chance that he goes under that 4.5 rebounds prop. You do not want to be on his over. That is a terrible play. Be on his under. Then we're going to go over to MLB and take Freddie Freeman on his under 1.5 total bases. So never be scared to take the unders, guys. I know it's the Dodgers, but don't be scared. We're going to grab his under 1.5. And honestly, he has only cleared this once in the past 5 games. So all you guys who love the last 5 graphs, this looks great for you, right? So under 1.5 total bases. But of course, I'm not going with this because of the last 5. I'm going with this because of the juice. And if we go onto Pinnacle, you're going to see once again, just like Luke Cornett, minus 137 on the under 1.5 total bases for him to go under. There's about a 54.5% chance he goes under. Now, this last pairing is actually a stack in the NBA. I'm going to go with Kyrie Irving on his under 1.5 steals. And I'm going to be stacking this up with Shea on his under 2.5 turnovers. So how does this make sense, guys? It's pretty obvious. If OKC is not turning over the ball, the other team cannot be stealing the ball. And we'll see this exactly on this Thunder game, the most recent one, 100-96 here. Shea got 0 turnovers and the whole OKC team got 7 turnovers in total. If you go and check the Mavericks steals, only Doncic got 2 steals, Hardaway got 1, and Green got 1. That's a total of 4 steals. So not every turnover is going to be a steal, but the more turnovers there is in general, the more steals the other team is going to get. And you can see Kyrie went under his steals. He got 0 steals exactly. Shea got 0 turnovers. So the more Shea is turning over the ball, the more likely it is for Kyrie to be stealing the ball. So you can imagine if Shea's getting like 7 turnovers, maybe 2 of those are Kyrie steals. So that's why we're pairing up Kyrie on his under steals and Shea on his under turnovers. And then once again, there's pretty good juice on the steals prop for Kyrie Irving towards the under, minus 125. And Shea doesn't really have that much juice on the turnovers, I don't believe. Yeah, you can see he's kind of flat at 50-50. But because we're taking Kyrie under steals, and that's a good prop, as I said, I'm always thinking, who does that affect? And of course, that affects Shea's turnover props. So simple stack here on Dallas versus OKC. Now, lastly, we have to turn this into a 38x. So we're going to incorporate a demon. And this is the best demon on the board right now. So if you guys want a demon prop, Marcus Stroman on the over 15.5 pitching outs. Not even sure why this is a demon. But if we go over to Bet365 and check his pitcher outs, you see plus 105 towards the over. Of course, the under is going to be more likely. But this shouldn't be a demon prop. So I'm going to exploit that and lock this in as the last slip. Good luck, everyone.